We do collectively tend to have a habit of boiling the ocean before we get anything done. Crossing the chasm is all about identifying a beachhead and leaning into that. And if we're going to narrow down to the CDN case, then maybe we need to think even more clearly about what that means. CDNs serve hot content to end users, but they also tend to serve content that is paid to be stored. So it's, you know, there's an intentionality to CDN content. Right now, even when we say we're going to do retrievals from Saturn, we're going to plug Saturn in to try and replace the IPFS.io gateway. That's not a CDN, right? That's sort of this unintentional CDN. But no, people are not paying to have stuff retrievable by IPFS.io. Sorry, yeah. Oh, we are, that's right. No, and that's an important point too. Like, there is a customer for all of these things. So if we narrow our thinking down to, you know, for this beachhead purpose, to say CDN, but also CDN for content that is paid for, and perhaps, you know, perhaps we're paying for Iranian Wikipedia to be stored and served, and that's a valid payment. But right now, when we talk about retrievals, successful retrievals, we're thinking about this, you know, the whole range of retrievals. And even when we narrow it down to CDN, we're thinking about, well, there could be any CID that's requested, because like we do that with auto retrieve now, any random CID. But the CDN case is not that. So if we narrow it down, then we get these really interesting properties, which is we tend to be dealing with business entities that have payments, and business entities that can establish relationships. But also, there's more homogeneity. Like, you have content producers like Fleek that are going to want to be storing data. They will tend to be picky about where they're storing their data. So you would likely end up in a situation where the kind of content you're serving is being stored with large storage providers, with large data centers that are very established businesses that can establish business relationships. And then you've got L2s, which are large, which could establish business relationships. The muddy bit comes in with the L1s, sorry, they're large. The L2s are the muddy one where they're not large. So, you know, the business-to-business relationship gets a bit awkward when you go through L2s. But perhaps there's creative ways where L2s could serve as business proxies, where L1s have the business relationship and the L2s are responsible for proxying on behalf of that. Anyway, it's not cryptographic, but if we're going to beachhead, then it seems like narrowing down is a positive thing.